Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 best MonsterVerse moments. For this list, we're exploring the greatest and most memorable moments from the 4 films in the MonsterVerse franchise. A major spoiler alert is now in effect. What's your absolute favorite MonsterVerse moment? Let us know in the comments below. Number 20, Journey to the Hollow Earth, Godzilla vs. Kong. One of the most refreshing aspects of Godzilla vs. Kong were definitely its vibrant visuals, and they are on full display in this scene. Leading the Apex team down the Antarctic tunnel, Kong swings his way down until a portal of sorts shoots them the rest of the way to the Hollow Earth. There, we're presented with a lush and almost prehistoric landscape, one that Kong's ancestors called home. It isn't long, though, until Kong and the gang are greeted by the region's dominant species in the form of warbats. Though nearly suffocated, Kong gains the upper hand and shows he's here to stay. He celebrates with a refreshing batch of, little intense Kong, don't you think?
That's gross.
Number 19, long-awaited reunion, Kong Skull Island. Most of this list will naturally feature plenty of badass monster fights, but that doesn't mean the MonsterVerse doesn't have its tender moments too.
You are more beautiful than a hot dog and a beer at Wrigley Field on opening day.
Having spent 30 years stranded on Skull Island, Lieutenant Hank Marlowe began to accept his new life by learning about the area's flora and fauna, and connecting with the local tribes, and as a result, all but forgot his old life back home.
I guess this is goodbye.
That's what makes this reunion scene shown during the credits so great. A bewildered Mrs. Marlowe is finally reunited with her long-lost husband, thought to have perished in the war long ago. We also get to see Hank meet his grown son for the first time, and everything seems to be wrapped up with a nice little bow. Number 18, Mechagodzilla takes over, Godzilla vs. Kong.
The apex titan of my own hand. It's time to show the world what you can do.
As Apex soon learned, playing with the remains of an evil kaiju head probably wasn't a good idea. In a desperate bid to reclaim humanity's spot as the world's apex predator, oh, that's why they're called that, CEO Walter Simmons utilizes the remaining Ghidorah skull to power the neural link between Mechagodzilla and Ren Serizawa, son of the late Ishiro Serizawa. The trouble is, something goes wrong with the connection, and Mechagodzilla gains autonomy. Making sure the power-hungry villain reaps what he sows, Mechagodzilla wipes out his creator with one fell swoop. Serizawa is subsequently fried, and suddenly we've got something on the loose much more dangerous than Godzilla. Number 17, Kong battles the giant squid, Kong Skull Island. The ruler of Skull Island might not have anything as fearsome as Ghidorah to contend with, but his domain is nonetheless home to some truly terrifying creatures. So sadly, Kong rarely has a quiet moment to himself. Pausing to tend to his wounds in the lake, Kong becomes aware that a deadly mire squid is lurking beneath the surface. For those who don't know, this is how the mire squid hunts. It's an ambush predator. The squid begins wrapping Kong in its tentacles, but ultimately proves no match for the king of Skull Island, who kills it with a well-placed head stomp. Get a little gross when Kong proceeds to slurp up the severed tentacles of the squid. It's stomach churning, sure, but it's undeniably memorable. Number 16. Preston Packard vs. Kong. Kong, Skull Island.
Kong didn't kill Chapman.
But he did kill these men. My men.
There are some men who are happy to coexist with the many creatures who walk our planet. And then there are those who firmly believe that humankind is meant to rule over all other life on Earth. It's safe to say that Samuel L. Jackson's character Preston Packard fits squarely into the latter category.
It's time to show Kong that man is king.
He's basically never met an enemy he can't beat. And so, despite the seemingly insurmountable challenge that Kong presents, he crafts an elaborate scheme to take down the King of Skull Island. It involves a lake of fire, and it seems to work. Kong eventually keels over. But a skull crawler crashes the party, Packard's fate is sealed, and it's Kong who gets the last laugh. That's gotta hurt.
Die, you motherfucker.
Number 15. Mothra's transformation. Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Most of the titans we met in Godzilla, King of the Monsters are best described as downright terrifying. But Mothra feels like a different sort of creature. A reminder that for all their sharp, spiny bits, claws, and gnashing teeth, the titans can also be beautiful. Even in her larval form after bursting forth from her egg, Mothra is sort of cute. When she later emerges from her cocoon behind the waterfall, however, the scene is downright stunning. Emitting an otherworldly blue light and beating her massive wings, Mothra looks like a true work of art. No wonder ancient civilizations worship the creature as a god. There is definitely something divine about being in her presence.
Beautiful.
Mothra, Queen of the Monsters.
Number 14. Halo Jump. Godzilla.
That's why we'll be conducting a halo insertion. Jumping altitude will be 30,000 feet. Just skate to the top and drop. Here and here.
Given all the kaiju action that the MonsterVerse delivers, these films could easily settle for run-of-the-mill cinematography. This is perhaps the most visually arresting sequence from the 2014 film, and it doesn't even involve the titular creature until the very end. In this scene, soldiers perform a halo jump, and their descent will take your breath away. Like warrior angels falling from heaven, they leave behind a beautiful sunny horizon, piercing the clouds to enter hell on Earth. The red smoke of their flares adds to the visual drama, while the first-person perspective of the fall adds an intense sense of claustrophobia. When Godzilla comes into view, it is shiver-inducing. Number 13. Kong vs. the Helicopters. Kong, Skull Island. Kong is king on Skull Island, and he takes none too kindly to outsiders. Apparently, that goes double for flying machines that appear to be attacking his home. Part of what makes this sudden attack so big in terms of impact is the setup. Paranoid by Black Sabbath plays over an exciting montage of the team carrying out their explosive research. And then, seemingly out of nowhere, the world is upended when a tree comes flying into one of the helicopters. Kong quickly proceeds to take down the choppers with brutal efficiency, and with most of it being shown from the perspective of one of the helicopters as it goes down. It makes for a uniquely harrowing experience. Number 12. Rodan vs. Ghidorah. Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
It's not a coincidence that Monster Zero thing is headed here. It's reacting to Big Bird's cries. That means it's coming for food, a fight, or something more intimate.
As we mentioned in our first list, when Rodan rises from his volcanic home in Mexico, the immediate effect is devastating. Not only is there a volcanic eruption, but his wing beat creates hurricane winds. To make matters worse, like Ghidorah, Rodan seems to be inherently violent. Running out of options, Monarch tries to use this natural aggression to their favor, leading Rodan on a collision course with Ghidorah. The two clash in a tangle of beating wings, snapping jaws, and sharp talons. But despite Rodan's enthusiasm, it quickly becomes apparent who the alpha is. The fight doesn't last long, but it was a pleasure to watch while it did. In that finishing move, talk about an effective way to establish dominance. Number 11. Battle at Sea, Godzilla vs. Kong.
What'd you say? Godzilla.
When the trailer for Godzilla vs. Kong dropped, we were so ready for the first confrontation. And their showdown on and around an aircraft carrier did not disappoint. Interrupting Apex's voyage to Antarctica with Kong is the great kaiju himself, as he quickly engages with the great ape. Kong holds his own, but proves to be at a severe disadvantage out in the open water. Godzilla tries to capitalize on this, as he's eventually able to drag Kong down to the briny depths. Desperate to save Kong, the human team distracts Godzilla long enough for Kong to resurface. Fearing a Godzilla counterattack, the humans feign defeat by powering down, letting Godzilla leave thinking he's won. He might have taken this round, but Kong will rebound for sure. Number 10. The Airport Fight, Godzilla. An airport is the sort of place where a lot of things can go wrong. Lost luggage, canceled flights, getting flagged for extra security screenings, we could go on all day. Thankfully, however, most of us have never had to deal with a kaiju showdown breaking out on the tarmac.
Roger, target in sight, 2 o'clock, 300 meters. Warlock 6, X01, target confirmed.
When a MUTO begins tearing through the airport, the military proves ineffective, and that's when the big guy arrives. Would-be passengers look out the massive airport windows at a fiery explosion as Godzilla's colossal foot steps into frame. It is an epic moment. We don't get to see a whole lot of the conflict between Godzilla and the MUTO, but it's the first time in the MonsterVerse that we really get a sense of Godzilla's size and power. Number 9. The Death of Dr. Ishiro Serizawa, Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Sometimes, the only way to heal our wounds is to make peace with the demons who created them.
The MonsterVerse knows how to deliver satisfying battles, but it also manages to keep its stories grounded in human emotion. For all those who fear and hate him, Godzilla also has a fair number of fans, but none bigger than Dr. Ishiro Serizawa.
The only question is, what part will we play?
Did you just make that up?
No, I read it in a fortune cookie once.
The character is named for the hugely influential original Godzilla director Ishiro Honda and Dr. Serizawa, the scientist who similarly sacrificed himself in the 1954 film.
世界の為政者たちが黙って見ているはずがないんだ。必ずこれを武器として使用するに決まっている。
The original Dr. Serizawa died defeating Godzilla and protecting the secrets of his oxygen destroyer. In a nice inversion of this, Ken Watanabe's Dr. Ishiro Serizawa dies in an intimate moment with a wounded Godzilla, detonating a bomb not to kill the creature, but to help him recover. It's an incredibly touching moment between man and Titan.
사라바, 정말.
Number 8. Calling All Titans, Godzilla King of the Monsters. After the apparent death of his alpha rival Godzilla, and having just regained his status as a three-headed beast, Ghidorah stands atop Rodan's volcanic home and proclaims his dominance for all to hear. The moment only lasts a few short seconds, but it is as beautiful as it is terrifying, leaving a lasting impression on the audience.
Moscow, London, Washington, D.C., all under attack. On every continent, the Titans are triggering earthquakes, wildfires, tsunamis, and disasters we don't even have names for yet.
This roar, however, is more than a declaration of victory. It's an alpha call commanding Titans around the globe to rise and wreak havoc. We sadly don't get to spend much time with these secondary Titans, but they make the most of their brief time in the spotlight. Oil fields are obliterated, mountains come to life. As the news cameras start rolling, it quickly becomes clear that these various kaiju are ushering in the end of days.
And this Ghidorah is the new alpha, and all the other creatures are just doing his bidding. They're an extension of him.
Number 7. Mothra saves Godzilla. Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Over the course of the films, it's made clear that despite his destructive methods, Godzilla is a savior of sorts. That being said, no one would call him cute or sentimental. And as for the rest of the Titans, well, even less so. That's what makes this moment between Godzilla and Mothra so special. After pulling off one of the smoothest sneak attacks in kaiju cinema history, a badly wounded Mothra flies over to a recently fallen Godzilla. We know that the beautiful Titan shares a symbiotic relationship with Godzilla, but this scene makes it clear that their dynamic is more than just mutually beneficial. She treats him with tenderness and care, before sacrificing herself so that he can continue the fight. Number 6. All Hail the King. Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Some might have found this scene to be a bit cheesy, but we think it's important to remember the campy roots of the franchise. Since first making his presence felt on the big screen in 1954, Godzilla and his kaiju peers have rarely shied away from overly dramatic moments, nor have the filmmakers avoided bold creative decisions. And so we think this moment is perfectly epic and befitting of the franchise. Having defeated Ghidorah, Godzilla has re-established his dominance as the Alpha, and so the various Titans assemble around him to make their signs of submission. Letting out a mighty roar, a victorious Godzilla firmly re-establishes his title as King of the Monsters. Number 5. Godzilla obliterates the MUTO. Godzilla. Though there was plenty of epic kaiju action in King of the Monsters, there's no single moment in the MonsterVerse that feels better executed than this one from the 2014 film. After duking it out with the various MUTOs, Godzilla finally goes down under the weight of a collapsing building. Without Godzilla to stop her, the massive female MUTO pursues forward. But just as she's about to end the soldier's life, an exhausted Godzilla manages to come to the rescue. Again. Our heroic Titan not only delivers a killing blow, but also showcases his creativity in the process. Simply perfect. Number 4. Hong Kong Smackdown. Godzilla vs. Kong. This is the heavyweight smackdown we were promised, and it more than delivered. Kong emerges from the hollow earth in Hong Kong. King Kong in Hong Kong. Anyway, where he and Godzilla have the fight of their giant lives. Kong has to go on the run from Godzilla's atomic breath, but he's ultimately able to use his axe to absorb it and deal Godzilla some serious punishment. Down but never out, Godzilla shakes it off and re-enters the fight, and this time he gets the better of Kong. With one foot pinning the ape to the ground, they each let out a roar in one of the film's best shots. With Kong's heart rate slowing, Godzilla leaves him to his fate. Number 3. Godzilla and Kong vs. Mechagodzilla. Godzilla vs. Kong. We weren't sure how Mechagodzilla was going to keep pace, seeing as his classic appearances portray him as rather, well, mechanical. But he absolutely owns here, laying the smackdown on his organic counterpart. Aware they need Kong to intervene, Lind and company manage to use the energy Apex harvested from the Hollow Earth to give him a kickstart. Kong takes a crack at Mechagodzilla himself, but he too is overwhelmed. It isn't until Godzilla uses his atomic breath to charge Kong's axe that the tables turn, at which point Kong eviscerates the mechanical monstrosity. Having saved the day, the two titular titans acknowledge each other before going their separate ways, sure to meet again. And we cannot wait for that day to come. Number 2. Godzilla arrives to his classic theme, Godzilla, King of the Monsters. In the movie's third act, a rejuvenated Godzilla makes his way to Boston to reclaim his rightful title from Ghidorah. The film is full of beautiful cinematic moments, but this might be the single most evocative shot of the entire film. Unable to outrun Ghidorah anymore, Madison's demise seems imminent. The king has arrived. Godzilla lets out a roar and then slowly approaches as a reinterpretation of his classic theme, written by Akira Ifukube and released in 1954, begins to play. For die-hard fans, the visuals paired with this iconic theme are enough to bring a tear to your eye.
Serizawa.
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions. This time we join the fight. Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Serizawa, let him fight action. I used to love it when he said that. No, this time we join the fight.
Kong's Shoulder. Godzilla vs. Kong. Birth of Mothra. Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Meet Titanus Mosura, or as we like to call her,
Mothra.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Fire Godzilla. Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Oh boy. Godzilla's radiation levels are going through the roof. We got about 12 minutes before he goes thermonuclear.
After being repeatedly beaten by Ghidorah, Godzilla got a much-needed boost. First from the nuclear detonation, and then again, most crucially, from Mothra. Absorbing Mothra's energy essentially causes Godzilla to go thermonuclear, his skin radiating red and the ground melting around him. Longtime Godzilla fans will tell you, however, this isn't the first time the character has been set aflame, so to speak. Fire Godzilla is a clear nod to Burning Godzilla, a form that the King of Monsters took on after absorbing radiation from uranium on Birth Island in the 1995 movie Godzilla vs. Destoroyah. As such, Fire Godzilla is not only awesome in its own right, but also a nice homage to the franchise history, making this moment a cut above the rest. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.